Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel, guys, because you've got Bert, the Hurt, and Lanny here to talk to you guys about a little predicament that I'm in. There's four stocks, not four stocks that I want to buy, but four stocks that I'm thinking of selling right now. Yes, as the market's coming down, taking that noise still out of it. I've always looked at these four stocks about possibly exiting, and man, because there's other opportunities as we're seeing right now. And is this the right time to dump these four stocks to buy maybe one, two, three other dividend stocks in my portfolio?
Well, and as you say, gotta say, that's what we gotta find out. But before we do, smash that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Help your boys get closer to 18, 19, and 20,000 YouTube subscribers. But this is going to be a fun predicament because every once in a while we have these videos. We're always looking at our portfolios. One of the initiatives we talked about is how we just want to cut back some of our holdings. And there are some low hanging fruit. And I'm very pumped up, Lena, that you want to talk about four pieces of fruit that are on the lower branches that might be time to pick them and get them out of your portfolio.
Yeah, guys, again, I recommend and hopefully everybody looks through their portfolio. Let me know what kind of stocks you might have that are smaller or that just don't fit it. Maybe they're from spin-offs. Let us know in the comments which ones you're like, why the heck do I own this? Um, so we're going to talk about four. We're going to really go down to what's the market value, what's the income, why do I want to exit? Then we'll also cover at the end maybe some of the cost and tax components of it as well that might be helpful to you guys because I'm gonna ask for your feedback here on this one to see what you would do if you were in my position here, especially Bert as well. But for that first stock, guys, we're going to talk about it. It's been a dump, just like the other streaming, I guess, competitors in the industry. We're not talking about Paramount Global. Unfortunately, we're talking about Warner Brothers Media Discovery, WBD.
So how do we get here? How did we
Oh,
get here?
that's a long journey.
Yes, AT&T, the former dividend aristocrat, former top five foundation stock for our portfolio, went big several years ago. They acquired DirecTV, they acquired Warner Brothers, merged it into a mega company, and then became too expensive to generate content, and it was disrupting the business. So they decided to spin the company off. But in the meantime, Warner Brothers merged with Discovery. So you got the byproduct of all this. Warner Brothers Discovery is the company. But that's how we arrived here. It's its own independent streaming service, and it has just been a terrible performer since then. There's been nothing good to say about the stock since it was spun off. Might have been a period where it was up higher, but it is definitely getting crushed right now, along with Disney, along with Paramount and every other streaming, because streaming is expensive. It's not cheap.
Bert, do you still own WBD?
This isn't my video. This is your video.
We'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
So guys, the market value at the time of this video, I have about $698 worth. Again, no dividend, poor performer. I thought I would ride it back up a little bit. Again, not to say I hope for the appreciation, but I was like, oh, it's so beat up right now. This was like a couple months ago. I was like, it probably won't get beat up any further. I was wrong there. That's for damn sure. It fell probably another, I don't know, 20% since then. So it's been bad.
Yep. And unfortunately, what makes this one even worse is there's no dividend associated with this. The dividend stayed with AT&T, Warner Brothers, nowhere close to a dividend. They're not even, they got to worry about their paying off their debt first. So you're getting $0 of income from this $698 investment land. It's just sitting there earning nothing. So I see why this one's number one on your list.
Yeah. And if you guys sold out right in the very beginning at 24 to 25, congratulations, because I don't think they'll ever get back there. Um,
That's the spirit.
so
No,
let's get into that second
so,
stock, guys. So that was technically a split off, right? But now let's talk about a spin off from GlaxoSmithKline, Haleon or Haleon. Um, Ticker symbol is HLN, and a nice international player. I own about $799.87 worth. This one does pay a dividend, yields about 2.73%. So it provides about $21.82 in income.
yeah,
Bert, you probably own a Haleon as well.
I do. As a matter of fact, this is the second one on this list that I own. And what's cool about them is it's the brand. So you know the brands that are in Haleon, Sensodyne, Biotine, Centrum, Emergency, Theraflu, Flonase, Advil, Tums. So you know the brands, the big consumer brands. Where does this sound familiar, Landy? Where does this sound like another mega farm company that just split off or spun off its consumer brands?
Off Nick Cage.
Yes.
J&J and Kenvue. It sounds a lot like that.
Yeah, so Haleon, at least with this one, like you said, you get a dividend, so you're getting 2.73% yield on there, but you could potentially do better out there. So I again, like the first one, I see why this is number two because $800 isn't large enough to necessarily warrant holding an individual position. Maybe bundle it with that 700 from Warner Brothers. Boom, that's a huge position investment.
You know what's funny, and this is going to have to be a video in and of itself. We might have to do like a Haleon, Kenvue, Viatris, just because part of the reason why we originally bought the Glasgow's, the J&J's, the Pfizer's was because of the Band-Aid, the Listerine's, the Viagra's, the Lipitor, or not Lipitor, but
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
like
you're right. It was the
it's
big
like
brands.
it was the big consumer brands. Now we're just really heavy into just pure pharma.
I can't wait till they all merge together.
So
No, that would be okay.
again,
In all seriousness, that would be a funny video. That would be an entertaining one to see how that's come along. So
yeah. So they're on the list. They're on the chopping block just because, again, it's only an $800 position. I'm never looking to add more to it currently. They're international and don't like that.
yeah,
Period. The translation and not knowing what the dividend is always tough. As a U.S. investor, I'll put the little asterisk there. And it might be a great way to really relook at the portfolio because, I also don't want to not have some of that consumer good in the healthcare arena, but that's why they're on here.
yeah.
So,
So number three here. Let's keep moving along here. This company, I don't own this one, Lanny. This one is we're deviating here. So what company are we talking about?
all right, guys, we're talking about MDU Resources. Ticker symbol is MDU. Way back during COVID, when I was probably reaching, and again, it's been an okay performer. It hasn't been bad, it hasn't been good. I mean, it was steadily increasing their dividend year after year. On about $724, provides right now, post the spinoff that they just did. I mean, it was yielding higher, but now yields about 2.61%. But they've always historically been a 2.5 to 3.5% yielder, 2.5 to 3.5% dividend growth stock. So it's like, why the is it in my portfolio? So now that they did a spinoff, sure, will it unlock more value for MDU shareholders? Possibly. With some of that give back to shareholders in the form of a spinoff? Possibly. So I just don't know why it's in my portfolio at this point.
I think that's fair, and I think it's a good segue into that fourth company here. Let's just talk right now about the company that they spun off. I also don't own this one, so they didn't have the spinoff. This company is Knife River Corp, ticker symbol KNF.
If you guys own this, let me know in the comments because I'll buy you a beer if you're ever in Cleveland.
I think I've asked you about this. Do they sell knives?
No,
No, okay, because that's I've asked you
really
that
in
before.
really in the construction industry, to say the least, guys. You can
Oh,
look
so
up.
this. Oh, okay. I was just gonna make an Italian construction joke, but
Yeah, you can, but yeah, they're essentially the contractor that does a lot of the construction work that you might see out on the site.
so
Um,
how much do you own after this spinoff, and what's the dividend and income that you're
so
getting?
that, again, it's not a bad thing. I mean, again, if I actually look at my original cost into MDU, way back during COVID, I put about $893 in. And again, I already told you that my MDU is worth 724. You might go, oh, Eleni, you're in a loss. Well, no, because once they spun off Knife River Corp, I also have $468 of value there. So, in total, like I said, it's $1,200. So I'm actually up, call it 300 on my investment. I'm up 33% on, it's not like it's been bad for me. So Knife River Corp, oof, it doesn't not blowing my socks off over here. I don't know what the dividend's going to be. They haven't announced anything yet, but you one would think that they will pay a dividend simply because of the reduction in MDU, even though that's not always the case. AT&T, WBD. Um, but I'm just not sure. It's a small position, again, under $500. So even if the stock price tripled, I'm not, hitting home runs here.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what it's doing. It's almost $468 of just money that is not producing income.
Yeah, so let's summarize this here. Lanny's got four positions on the chopping block. Warner Brothers, ticker symbol WBD, Haleon, ticker symbol HLN, MDU Resources, MDU, and Knife River Corp, ticker symbol KNF. In total, the market value, the money that he could potentially unlock by selling these tomorrow is $2,690.17. The income that has been announced and the dividend income formally is $40.75 because only two of the companies pay a dividend, Haleon and MDU. That's a yield of 1.5%.
And then I even said, hey, if Knife River Corp happens to do a little bit of a dividend for what MDUs went down by, that might add another $3.63 to it. So still would only yield a 1.65%.
So that's not a high yield in aggregate. So it's not as if you're forfeiting a ton of income here.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
So Lanny, what are some of the alternatives that you're thinking? Because if you're going to sell the stock, chances are you're going to want to reinvest the funds somewhere else.
Right. Well, first, I could obviously move all of that right into VYM, earn over two times the amount of yield, and just call it a day, right? And there's also the tax benefit as well, because technically WBD, based on what my investing platform shows from the spinoff of AT&T, I have a $700 market value that's also sitting at a $1,500 loss.
Yeah.
So I could sell and take that long term. It's a long term capital, loss, so I can take it and offset some long term capital gains that I may actually have this year. The other three have small long term capital gains. MDU technically shows 46 on my platform, 175 with Knife River Corp, and 168 with Haleon. So in total, a little over $1,100 in long-term net capital losses from this transactions that I could use to offset my income, save me a couple
Yeah.
$100 in taxes as well.
It's a huge benefit there. So not only are you going to potentially double your dividend income by moving it into VYM, you're going to get a nice little 200 something, $200 plus tax benefit too. That's huge. That's freaking huge, Lanny. So I guess do we want to put the question out to the viewers of what do
Let's
they
do
think
it.
about this? Like,
Let's do it. This
if
is Who
you,
Wants to Be a Millionaire.
yeah,
I'm calling the lifeline.
yeah, if you were Lanny in this situation, what would you do? Would you sell these companies, move it all into VYM, and take the tax benefits, or would you hold on to any of them? Would you do something else with the funds? Let us know in that comment section down there.
Yeah, I really appreciate your feedback and perspective. I will kind of watch these prices this week. This video will come out, I believe, on the 12th of October. So, I'll let you know if I end up doing something in my comments back to everybody. But I don't know if I'll make a quick decision this week, but I want to see, Bert's feedback as we talk more on the phone and hear what everybody else here in the comments have to say about it.
Yeah. I mean, again, just to reiterate my thoughts on this too, you're never going to go wrong by eliminating these smaller positions and consolidating them into one. Like to your point, what if they all triple? Great. But it's not that large of an impact. And instead of having to monitor them, deal with the tracking, you can move them into investment, just keep growing that VYM position and make things a lot simpler on your portfolio.
There we have it, guys. Now, appreciate you guys for stopping by. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, guys. Help the DD over here. Hopefully, we're helping you on your financial freedom journey. Keep saving, keep investing, and keep pursuing financial independence. Bert, what other parting words do you have to say, my brother?
If wait, did you say we subscribe already? Okay,
Yeah, I
fine.
did. Yeah.
Okay, great. 2-1. I don't think I have the parting words in this video, Lanny. I think you're the one that has to kick everyone out.
All right, guys, if you ain't with us, then you are against us, Jack. That was Bert and Lanny from the DD over and out.